Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update. And I'm wishing you all a fabulous Friday. We are still away. We'll be back to familiar settings on Monday, just seeing a few people before Christmas. But we're very committed to bringing you one of these updates daily because there's just so much going on. And actually, yesterday, something massive took place in the form of BlackRock releasing a report and then a speech that spoke about sizing Bitcoin in portfolios. And they suggest around about a 1 to 2% allocation of Bitcoin in an investment firm's portfolios, or any portfolio really. And this is massive because actually that is not where we currently are today. And there's this Bitcoinization of portfolios that's going to take place, governments that's going to take place, corporations that's going to take place, et cetera, that we're still to live through. And that's the fundamental narrative that's going to see those technical patterns that we have for Bitcoin play out. And then we can drive, okay, well, if dominance falls down to 40%, that might give the altcoin market a $7-8-9 trillion projection, which is, you know, it's a fraction of that today. We're talking 7-8x from where it currently is today. And then actually, more interestingly, what we looked at yesterday, and I feel like some of the technical stuff goes over people's heads, but we do try and do our best to simplify things. When we look at Tether dominance, which currently sits at $139 billion, that's set to roll to about 1%, 1.3%, which means you've got 98.7% of the market left, which means that that market share, if Tether goes down to 1.3%, which we've got a technical pattern for it to do so, is going to be in the $13 trillion. Bullish. And fundamentally, we have every reason to expect that. We'll be talking more broadly. We've got Dan Moorhead talking about essentially how he's now positioned in Tarn, Sol, and Ondo. You know, what we've seen is Bitcoin really set the standard, or at least set the pace, initiate the cryptoization of everything. But this will spread to the altcoin sector, and we are investors in a market that hasn't even been allowed to become that yet. And I think that is a really interesting value proposition, and we've made it our life's work at this point to facilitate a website, allincrypto.com. By the way, we are a fast-growing website. We will become, mark my words on this, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest websites in the world when it comes to crypto media. Certainly within the UK, you know, we're heading there as we speak. And certainly this platform, YouTube, is an amazing one. And, you know, we last month were, I think, the second fastest growing crypto YouTube channel in the whole of the YouTube sphere, which is very, very interesting. And we want to thank all of you for that. But let's get into things. Let me stop gloating selflessly about how amazing Allincrypto is. And, of course, you guys are the judge of that. And you guys are amazing for having the foresight to be into this industry. Anyway, this is from Eric Balanchunas. If you're not following Eric at the moment, what are you doing? Somebody I'm hopeful will get on in the future. He posted this, and the tweet reads, I'll read the tweet first. New report from BlackRock today that recommends 1 to 2% exposure to Bitcoin ETFs. First time they gave specific numbers. They put this out because they had so much incoming on this question of how much. Now, this was published yesterday on the 12th. It's now the 13th today. Unlucky for some, lucky for some. Friday the 13th. I actually find 13 quite a lucky number for myself. But anyway, I don't want to jinx it. Sizing Bitcoin in portfolios. For investors who wish to include Bitcoin in a multi-asset portfolio, we outline an approach for how to think about sizing the allocation to it. And this came out yesterday. We got a couple of interesting things from Eric that are all very revealing in regards to the direction fundamentally this space is heading. So how can investors think about a Bitcoin allocation? Bitcoin cannot be compared to traditional assets, but from a portfolio construction perspective, the Mag 7 group of mostly mega cap tech stocks is a useful starting point. Those stocks represent a single portfolio holdings that account for a comparatively large share of portfolio risk, as with Bitcoin. In traditional portfolios with a mix of 60-40, so 60 stocks, 40 bonds, I think that's largely gone out the window. You've been losing your bond portfolios, holding you underwater. Is it? I say that actually because the 60% your overweight stocks has been doing really well. So some 60-40s have been doing okay, but you're kind of holding 40% dead weight. The 40% has traditionally been you're hedging your bets for economic downturns and recessions because bonds do well in that environment, which... Yeah, let's not get into portfolio allocation and management. It's a very complex topic. But In traditional portfolios, with a mix of 60-40, so 60 stocks, 40 bonds, those 7 stocks each account for an average about the same share of overall portfolio risk as 1% to 2% allocation to Bitcoin. Okay. We think that a reasonable range for Bitcoin for a Bitcoin exposure, why not more? Going beyond that would sharply increase Bitcoin's share of overall portfolio risk. And you're really increasing your tail risk on the back end of all of this. But you're going to want to include something like Bitcoin for the sake of diversification. Certainly BlackRock did that report where they actually spoke about how Bitcoin's not a risk on. It's essentially a risk-off asset, which was interesting and very counterintuitive, I think. And not quite apparent yet because Bitcoin has moved generally with liquidity and risk. This is from Eric Balanchunas, and he was obviously, I think he was presenting a talk with some of the largest, people from BlackRock, et cetera, and this is something that Jay Jacobs made from BlackRock. He said, we're really just at the tip of the iceberg with Bitcoin, and especially Ethereum, alt season, cometh the man, cometh the hour. We are going to be so rich off of altcoins, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of thousand is going to change your life. I truly believe that. And I'm living proof of that in the sense that my life-changing cycle for me was 2018-19, heavy accumulation throughout that period for me. We're talking handfuls of thousands, and then that grows into, I'm sure we all know how well things did in 2021. That opportunity presents itself for you guys today, and I want you to take it. I want you guys to win so badly. I want you guys to win more than I want myself to win, because life can suck, but it's also amazing at the same time. Let's continue. Just a tiny fraction of our own clients, IBIT and ETH. So that's what we're focused on versus launching a new altcoin ETF. Jay Jacobs of BlackRock, ETF in depth. Now, other firms are already filing for ETFs. You're going to get multiple of them. Gensler still. I mean, interestingly, Gensler, I looked at this morning. I don't quite believe Elon Musk is this savior that everybody paints him out to be, and I think there's more of us. He reminds me of an evil genius, but I'm not going to, he is a genius. There's no question about that, but I don't think he's this kind of libertarian figure that is working against the powers that be. I think potentially he might be working for them, and they'll often control. It's like a play. They'll have the goodie and the baddie, but they both work for the theatre. Anyway, this is from just interestingly talking about the SEC denying. Maybe I'm in denial about it, but talking about how the SEC prohibited or denied the Solana ETFs. This is from Elon Musk. Oh, Gary, how could you do this to me? And this is from Gary Gensler to Elon Musk. Yesterday, a commission staff issued a settlement demand that requires Mr. Musk agreed within 48 hours to either accept a monetary payment or face charges on numerous counts. They indicate that this demand was a result of a directive from their superiors, and that charge would be brought immediately unless Mr. Musk acquiesces, whatever that says. This demand follows a multi-year investigation and more than 6 years of harassment of Mr. Musk by the commissioner and staff. This is interesting. 12th of December. I mean, what can you say? Anyway, the thing I'd say, we have people coming to us all the time trying to pitch Bitcoin plus something else ETFs. Every option strategy you can think of is going to be tied to Bitcoin, Nvidia, Tesla, and Microsoft in ETFs. It's coming. There's a whole sort of thing, a world waking up. Here you go. ETFs grew by 3.7 trillion in 2024. Bitcoin ETFs are about 2% of that number. On one hand, amazing for a new category. On the other hand, pretty tiny, especially relatively to the attention they get. Shows just how damn big asset class universe is. And a lot of that is still to flow into the cryptocurrency space. And it won't just be Bitcoin, it'll be the altcoin sector more broadly. There was a very interesting clip that actually Altcoin Daily shared. Altcoin Daily, say what you will about the guy. He shares some great stuff. Okay, we can understand the criticism from one point of view, but he's just a guy trying to make content on YouTube, and he's been very, very successful off that. So say what you will about him, or them. the twins. They do put out some great stuff. And I want to quickly play this clip because it talks about actually, and this is a fund that believes crypto is going to be very big, but they're now moving into the altcoin sector. Of course, Ton, Sol, and Ondo, but it will be more broadly. And then we'll wrap things up very quickly on a little bit of price action because we've covered it to death technically. We even did that video where we looked at 5 technical reasons Bitcoin's going higher. That's going to happen, and then we can derive things from that. Let's dive into this clip, guys.
Yeah, so the fun bit about crypto is we've been doing this for 11 years, and Bitcoin's almost gone a little bit more than doubled this year. And so everyone's talking about, isn't that wild, it doubled? On average, it's done that for 11 years in a row, right? So crypto going up double is not remarkable, actually. And so we're normally long because we think the markets are going to go up, another huge amount, like another order of magnitude possibly. So we're typically long. We're always just looking at which other tokens are interesting. We have a big position in Ton, Telegram's token, Solana, Ondo. Those are some of ours. Yes.
Now I hold a little bit of Sol. I don't hold any Ondo. And of course, Tom we've looked at and said, actually, it's very interesting, certainly with the Telegram link. There's just so much opportunity, guys. There's not going to be one winner. There's going to be multiple. Obviously, you guys know our largest bag, which is H-bar. I think that's going to start to move again, and I'll do a video on that later on. When we look at the sort of space through the lens of Bitcoin, it's just technical perfection for us, and it has been thus far, and it's going to continue to be. We've got a lot of things going on. We've got a whole academy that we're developing. Obviously, we've got the Patreon and other things like that. But we are going to take a very scientific approach towards technical analysis because that's what I believe it is, or how we approach it in regards to looking at a specific criteria in the form of patterns that lead to a specific outcome on balance of probability. So if something plays out 8 times out of 10, that's very good odds. And actually, if we can identify what criteria causes that outcome, well, you've not got a printing machine, but you've certainly got a ahead of your competition. So lots of interesting things going up. We'll keep you up to date with it daily, as we have been. On that note, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people, I'm going to love and leave you. I'm in a good mood. I hope you guys are. Have a fantastic Friday. I'll see you all over the weekend. Thanks for watching.